Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, thanks so much for being here to testify again today. Improving management of our offshore energy resources is critical. We are now day 66 of the spill, day 66 of an economic and environmental catastrophe in the Gulf, which is affecting not just the Gulf region, but our entire country. One thing that the American people know for certain right now is that neither BP nor the administration have any idea of how to stop the leak today. That's why today's hearing is so important. We need to improve offshore exploration, and that requires an honest and a thoughtful response and approach. We have to get to the issues of preventing future spills, of protecting coastal businesses, whether it's the shrimpers or the drilling rig workers, to ensure responsible exploration for American offshore oil and natural gas in the short run as well as the long run, and to improve the government's ability to respond. It's a response that has been called delayed, sluggish, bureaucratic, and ineffective. And the administration it seems to me, is now putting ideology over scientific integrity. The administration put together a group of experts to review safety recommendations for offshore oil and gas exploration. The administration proudly stated that the safety recommendations were peer-reviewed. Well, afterwards, the American people found out that the most significant recommendation, which was the moratorium, was not actually peer-reviewed. The moratorium was added after the experts had been consulted. The majority of the experts consulted say that their names were used to justify a political decision made by the administration. So here I am looking at a moratorium that to me is causing additional unnecessary economic harm to a region that is already suffering. Now, according to the Interior Department's own report, the OCS oil and gas industry provides relatively high-paying jobs in drilling and production activities. Goes on to say offshore operations provide direct employment estimated at 150,000 jobs. We know that the federal judge overturned the moratorium on Tuesday, saying the court is unable to divine or fathom a relationship between the findings and the immense scope of the moratorium. Well, to make matters worse, Mr. Secretary, the President's newly appointed 7-member oil spill commission, it seems to me to be stacked with people who philosophically oppose offshore exploration. The President said he wanted an objective look. Well, the Commission's background and expertise doesn't really include an oil or a drilling expert. So people in the Gulf, people across the country are wondering about the administration's goals. Is it really about making offshore energy exploration safer, or is it shutting down our offshore and American oil and gas? And when they see that the President of the Natural Resource Defense Council is one of the 7 members of the committee, and this group has just intervened as a defendant in the court case wanting to continue the moratorium, it's no surprise that the American people are asking questions. So I want to applaud the members of this committee for taking a less political approach, including our chair and our vice chairman, and the thoughtful bills that are under consideration today. I wanted to ask about the Jones Act. More than a dozen foreign countries have offered to help. BP and the administration have been slow to accept the assistance, is what I'm hearing from senators who represent the states in that area. Apparently, we heard from the Coast Guard captain that we have exhausted all of our East Coast supply of skimming vessels. We are now looking at Norway, France, Spain, and other European vessels. Under the Jones Act, foreign skimmers are prohibited from skimming within 3 miles of the U.S. coast. Number one is, do we have enough skimmers in the Gulf? And are there currently any outstanding offers that have been rejected that we really ought to reconsider and accept?
Senator Barrasso, let me make 4 quick points. First, with respect to the Jones Act, I will get that information back to you from Admiral Allen, who has been in charge of the effort in terms of skimmers. I can tell you no resource has been spared in terms of getting vessels out there to do the job. Secondly, let me say that there's nothing political about this. This is not a Republican or Democratic issue, and frankly, I would believe that it is the President who's transcended partisan politics. This is not an ideological issue. It's an issue about safety and making sure that we're protecting the environment and the people of the Gulf Coast and the economy of the United States. And those are the marching orders which the President has articulated for all of us. Thirdly, with respect to your point on the engineers and their point of view, I put together, at my request, the group that developed the 30-day safety report to the President of the United States. I called the National Academy of Sciences to get those engineers involved. Their charge, as I articulated in the letter that I gave to the President, was to come up with safety recommendations. Their charge was not to come up with a decision on the moratorium. The decision on the moratorium was separate from what I had the engineers and the peer review group did. The moratorium was the President's decision and my decision. And the final point I would make is, the Presidential Commission on the Deepwater Horizon is headed by very distinguished people. Bill Riley, former head of EPA, served in a Republican administration, and he's known for his problem-solving approach to issues. Senator Bob Graham, who was a colleague of many of you who are still here, maybe some of you are younger than by the time you left, but in any event, he also is a person who understands the Gulf Coast and the Gulf of Mexico very well. So we're confident that this commission will do the job, and they will get to the root causes of what happened here and make recommendations that will help guide the future energy program in the Outer Continental Shelf.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to ask consent to put two articles into the record, one from the Wall Street Journal, June 17th, called Crude Politics, the Drilling Experts Speak Out on the Obama Deepwater Moratorium, and the second from Wall Street Journal, June 22nd, called the Anti-Drilling Commission. The White House choices seem to have already made up their minds with that.
Are these articles or these opinion pieces?
They are editorials from the Wall Street Journal.
They will include them in the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.